guess what? We got a chance to speak to John Carney, the director of Once Again, Sing Street, about his brand new Apple TV Plus movie, Flora and Son. I'm a very big fan of your work, and I have to say, Flora and Son had me in happy tears by the end, because it's so rare that we see movies these days that are so life-affirming. So thank you very much for that. My first question was about all of your work, actually, including Flora and Son. And I find that with Begin Again, with Once, with Flora and Son, you managed to tap into a sense of love and romance that feels incredibly truthful, as opposed to some of the other fictions we see. And I'm curious as to what your philosophy is when you're approaching this sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that I try to stay out of the tropes of TV or romantic comedies or, musicals, all of which I love. I mean, I love fantastic movies with romance and dancing and fun, but I like the challenge of seeing if I could have my cake and eat it a little bit. So if I could get all of that into my movies, but not without compromising my roots as a filmmaker and my loves of specific films, which I guess are realism films and the Nouvelle Vague and the, British films of of Ken Loach and Mike Leigh, where it's very naturalistic sort of approach. So I guess what I'm trying to do is see if I could have the fantastic Hollywood story of the musical, but through the lens of something more real and more grounded, as you say. So you can kind of merge those two and have a kind of an interesting new effect.
Yeah. I was speaking to a bunch of people before. I was telling them I was going to speak to you because I knew they were fans of your work. And my wife as well pointed out something, saying that at various times, your movies have been the soundtracks to people's lives. And given the role that music plays in your movies, I was wondering, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, what that movie was for you.
Well, many movies. And it's interesting sometimes, isn't it, where you've had a movie experience and then you hear the soundtrack and the soundtrack evokes that whole film for you.
Right. So when you played both sides now in your film, I was like, oh, that's a bold thing given Love Actually and Coda as well, right?
Yeah, I know. I hope I get away with it.
In your movie.
Yeah, I hope we get away with it. It's just such a perfect song for that moment. But I would say Saturday Night Fever was that movie for me. And for so many people, when you hear that drum beat, you're transported not just to the movie, but almost to Brooklyn 1979 and New York, and Manhattan, and your music really can transport you back, not only in your life, but into the movie, where you're almost it's a way into the movie, isn't it? Music, it's a way back into the film. You don't need to think of a line of dialogue. You hear just like a hi-hat or a drum beat, and you're like, oh, I'm right back there. But so many films. I'm glad my movies, the soundtrack of those films have been retooled in real life, because I hear that a lot. I hear people getting married to Falling Slowly, or I hear bands that heard Drive It Like You Stole It by Gary Clark, and they play them in school bands all over. It's amazing. I never intended for that, and I'm incredibly surprised by it.
And also when those songs pop up on a playlist or on radio over here, I'm immediately transported to your movie.
I think that's because visually, I take care when the music is playing and the song, and that I try to marry the two things. So the two things spur each other, are connected.
I'm absolutely out of time. Thank you so much for yours, John. And I just want to say, Eve Hewson needs to be in everything. Oh, she's so good.
Yeah, she's a great actor. I'm glad you liked her in it. Yeah, she's very, very, very good. Yeah, she's going to be doing a lot of things, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Playing the guitar, it's so sexy.
Okay.
Is that why you took it up?
Well, let's focus on you.
Are you coming on to me?
That was John Carney. Flora and Son premieres on Apple TV Plus September 29th. Watch it. We highly recommend it. It is so good. Trust us. Let us know what you think. Sound off in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.